Welcome to the Crime Solver episode 6. We're at Go Live Vegas Studios, which is the best studio here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and that's where we're coming live from Las Vegas, Nevada, folks. Listen, it's going to be a great podcast today. Let me tell you why. Because it's just me and we don't have Colmeyer interfering with us, my co-host. He couldn't make it today, so it's going to be a great podcast without him. I'm just kidding. We need you back, Dave. Make sure you get back. Today's episode, there's going to be a couple rules that we're going to have different. It is Super Bowl week. And when it's Super Bowl week, yes, we talk crime on this show, okay? We definitely talk crime. But when you call in today, and we're going to open the phone lines in a little bit here, you got to say who's going to win the game. Is it going to be the Eagles? Is it going to be Kansas City? And why? And then we'll get into your crime question. So, yes, we're a crime show, but we're going to do a little bit of Super Bowl talk today. And we're going to definitely talk about the Philadelphia Eagles winning their second Super Bowl this weekend. So how's everybody doing out there? And I see TikTok's already saying go Birds. There's a couple things we got on the agenda today. One thing I want to talk about is prosecutors are actually looking into Brian Koberg. They're looking at cold cases from out of the area. So they're going over that. So let's talk a little bit about that today. We're also going to talk about Joe Anderson. Now, a lot of people don't know who he is. He was a guy in New Mexico that was released on a ankle monitor for criminal homicide, and he cut the ankle monitor off and now is gone. So we're going to talk about bail. We're going to talk about police reform. We're going to talk about the Alex Baldwin case, okay? Should he have been charged? Shouldn't he have been charged? We're going to talk about gun control. We're going to talk about active shooters, and we're going to take your calls. We're going to open the phone lines very, very shortly. We're hoping that we have a special guest today. He's going to be calling in. We're hoping she calls in at 6:10 today. Her name is Patricia. We're going to be talking about her son. Her son, his name is Travis Mason. He was murdered in Colorado in 2016 at a dispensary, at a marijuana dispensary. He was a security there. He is a Marine. When he left the Marine Corps, he moved to Colorado and took 2 jobs to support his family of 3 and a wife, okay? And he was murdered when they tried to rob the dispensary. They weren't able to do the robbery, but they did shoot him, and he died of his injuries. Do we have a call? Oh, if you look on the screen there, folks, you can see his picture. And well, hopefully his mom's going to be calling in here in about 4 minutes. And this is what I want to do with this podcast. I want to get this out there. Anything that you have, we are going to do at least 1 to 2 cases of podcasts from my viewers on TikTok. So please send me your cases. The first couple episodes, we were talking about the Koberger case mostly, but now we're going to open it up to your cases, to your unsolved cases, to your missing people, and we're going to showcase them on this show every single week. So we're going to open the phone line soon here. I want to wait a couple minutes. Patricia should be calling us in about 5 minutes. And Patricia, anytime you want to call, if you're watching the show, you can call in. We are ready for you. Aaron, our producer, Alan. Why did I call him Alan? Aaron, our producer, was very hard at work today because we thought we had everything charged, and we didn't. But we got it all charged now, and we're all ready to go. But listen, I don't know what I would do without Go Live Vegas Studios. They are perfect. If you are looking for a podcast, this is definitely the place to be. But while we're waiting for Patricia, I want to talk about Joe Anderson, and we can get back to that if Patricia calls in. Joe, he shot a guy over, and this was in New Mexico. He shot a guy that was looking at his motorcycle that he lent the motorcycle to. When the guy was leaving, they had a disagreement, and he shot him in the back and killed him. Not only was Joe charged with criminal homicide, first-degree criminal homicide, Joe was also charged with voluntary manslaughter in 2016. So I guess the judge and the prosecutors decided to release him on bail with a monitor. So you can now be released on bail with a leg monitor for criminal homicide. So what do you think Joe did? Joe cut the leg monitor off and he's gone. He's gone. He just ran out and no one knows where he is. There is now a warrant for Joe for criminal homicide. Now, folks, could you imagine your family member being murdered by this guy? Oh, we got a call. Hi, this is the Crime Solver. This is Danny.
Hi, hello? Danny. This is Priscilla.
Hey, how are you doing? I got your name wrong, Patricia. I don't know why I was calling you Patricia. Priscilla. Thank you for calling in.
It's okay.
Thank you so much for calling in. Now, listen, I just went over your son's case a little bit, but I want you to, let's start from the beginning, okay? And I thank you so much for getting this to me, because this is what I want to do. I want to help people like you that there's still cold cases out there that never been solved, because the truth is, if you don't put pressure on the police, they're going to put that on the back burner. Would you agree with me?
I totally agree with you.
Okay. So now your son, this happened in what, June of 2016, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And your son's name was Travis Mason. Could you tell us a little bit
Yes.
about your son, a little bit of background?
Sure. Travis was my firstborn,
Okay.
and he was an amazing kid. I mean, just very headstrong, was determined to be in the military, and he joined the Marines. I'm so proud of him for that. He was stationed in North Carolina at Camp Lejeune, and he had a wife and kids. And I went to go visit him in December 2015 for Christmas time.
Okay.
And he was talking about possibly re-enlisting, and he told me, he's like, Mom, he says, I love the Marines. I love what I'm doing, but I really don't want to re-enlist because I'm afraid that one of these days I won't come home to my kids.
Understand.
So I told him, it's okay. You can come back to Colorado, and get another career. And he said, yeah, I think I'm going to do that. He goes, I want to become a police officer. And I said, okay. So he moved back to Colorado.
Okay.
And he hadn't been there very long. Got a job and a couple jobs, and was supporting his family, even though he technically didn't have to, because he could have collected the unemployment and stuff through the Marine Corps, but he wasn't like that. He was such a hard worker. He's like, no, I want to work.
Right.
But he applied with Denver Police Department.
Uh-huh.
Was really excited. He'd received his letter to go test just a few days prior to his murder.
Okay.
But he had started that job at the dispensary.
Okay.
And he was really excited. It was a security job, and he's like, I'll do this until I get on with the Denver PD. And, he went to work that night, and it was the worst night of my life.
Oh, my
sure.
God. I am so sorry to hear that. So he went to work. Was he working there long when this happened?
No, he was actually starting his second week of work there.
Oh, my gosh. It was only his second week of work. Do you know exactly what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Could you tell me a little bit what happened that you know of?
Yeah, so as far as I know, they were closing at 10 p.m., and from what I was told, two guys went in there, and he was there was this little desk, and he was in this one area that he had to, in order for people to get to the back, to where all the product was and everything,
Uh-huh.
he'd have to buzz them through.
Understand.
So it was just him up front.
Okay.
Yeah, and so they came in the door, from what I was told, and the first guy that went in is the one that pulled the gun out.
Okay.
And my son stood up, and some other guy was, an employee was getting ready to get off work, so he came out that door that was buzzing.
Okay.
And my son shoved him back in there to protect him, and that's when the guy shot my son.
Oh, my God. Was he shot more than once?
Yes. So from what I was told, he was shot twice in the stomach area.
Ugh.
And I was told that he could have possibly lived through that piece of it.
Okay.
But the guy, I guess the second guy had turned around and ran.
Okay.
And the guy that shot him started to leave, and something, I don't know why, but he turned around, went back to my son, and shot him right in the head.
Oh my God, I am so sorry to hear that. Oh my God. I honestly, as a parent, I don't know how you're making it through this. I feel so bad for you. I'm sure it's a struggle every day. And I know it's been years, but that doesn't mean nothing. Never.
Right.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. How old was your son?
He was 24 when it happened.
And
And it happened the night before Father's Day. And he had told his kids that he wanted them to stay up till he got home because he wanted to start celebrating Father's Day early.
How old was
he had a set of his kids?
Yeah.
He had a set of twins that were turning 4 years old. They turned 4 years old 3 days after he was killed.
Okay.
And his baby turned 1 year a week before he was killed.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm so sorry. And he had a wife too?
Yes, he had a wife.
Oh my gosh. And he served his country. Oh, and he wanted to be a police officer. Was that his goal? Was he going to apply somewhere in Colorado?
Yeah, he had applied with Denver Police Department and had already received his letter to go test and everything. So that's all he was waiting on. He was really excited, and
do they have now?
That's all he ever wanted to do.
We put the video up or the picture up of the suspects because we did get that off the internet. We did get a picture of your son, which we put up also. Now, the suspects, basically, they're covered head to toe, even though they got them on camera. Is there any leads at all? Did they have anything to go on at all that you could tell us?
No, and it doesn't make any sense to me because there were so many cameras because it was a dispensary, and there was literally right next door to a gas station that had cameras that were facing the dispensary.
Right.
And the other business was like a tire shop, and it had cameras too. But I don't know, like they haven't released any information to me, like what kind of car, how they got away, anything. Nothing at all. I hear nothing.
When was the last time you talked to the police? Have they reached out to you at all?
Not in the last year. I know that they've had major turnovers, and I don't even know that the same detective is there anymore.
Right.
But yeah, I haven't heard from anyone.
Did you hear anything as a mother through the community that it might be such and such, or no? Do they have any description, like white males, anything like that? Do they even know the race or anything? I mean, you can't even tell the gender because they're so covered up.
Yeah. From what I was told, they did say the race. They said it was two African-American individuals.
Okay.
And I don't know the height or anything like that. I know that they have some information.
Okay.
I know that they were really specific about the clothes they were wearing because, one of them had, maroon-colored Converse on and the other one had, a Hollister.
Right.
A Hollister vest or a hoodie on.
Yeah, we had that just up, too.
Yeah, see, that's it, though. That's all I know.
Oh, my gosh.
I know I did an episode, an interview on Court TV, and there was a detective that came on there and said she had been looking at stuff, and she was from another state. She was just reviewing the case and stuff, and she thought maybe it was like a gang initiation type thing, go in and kill this guy,
right?
Whatever. I don't know how that works, but
I mean that
I don't know.
Oh my gosh. And I mean, this is just, it's horrible. But here's the thing, and I'm telling you, I was a detective for 14 years. Honestly, and I'm going to tell you from experience, you got to put pressure on the police because if there's no pressure on them, they will put that case in the back burner, especially if there's no leads. So just you getting this out there, that's why, I mean, we are a small podcast, but I do have 137,000 followers that we can get out. We're averaging to about 5,000 viewers each episode we have. So I will personally definitely get this out there for you. All I could say is I'm going to go through experience. Somebody saw something. Somebody knows something. I mean, it's guaranteed. Somebody knows these guys did this. Somebody. Would you agree with me?
Yeah. I very much agree with you. And I'm shocked because it's two individuals. So I just keep thinking, is one eventually going to rat on the other, or some kind of, have some kind of rift, and or maybe they're girlfriends, or just somebody. I know somebody out there has some kind of information. And as a mom, if that person is out there, I'm just begging you, please, please, please come forward. And there's that $55,000 reward through Crime Stoppers, and I just want some justice for my son. That's all I want.
I did see that $55,000 reward. You'd think that would get somebody out there to say something, right? Listen, we got to solve this case for her. This is a kid that served his country, and I'm sorry for calling him a kid. Anybody in their 20s, is a kid to me, because I have daughters in their 20s. But listen, we got to solve this case. Somebody knows something. Share my live video. Share. I did a TikTok video on this case. Share it. We got to get it out there so we can solve this case. Listen, would you do me a favor? Would you come back on our show again if any new information comes on?
Definitely, and I really appreciate you doing this for me. Thank you for answering my message. You did it so quickly. I was really impressed, and I just thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means so much to me.
No problem. And I could, honestly, this gives me chills just listening to you, because as a parent, I don't know how you're doing it. It's got to be so tough. It's got to be in your head every single day. And a lot of people said time will heal it. Time's not going to heal this. You know that, right? It's just something you're going to have to learn to live with. But it'll help you live with it if we can find this guy.
Yeah, definitely.
And listen, just so you know, we have, if you go to thecrimesolver.com, you can leave tips. If you don't want to call the police, you can leave tips right on our site, and we will get it to the police. So if you want to leave an anonymous tip and you don't even want to call the police, we will get it to the police. So you can actually go to thecrimesolver.com and leave a tip for us. And I have that up. So thank you for calling in. I hope we could do something for you. If anything new comes in, please call us.
Okay, I will. Thank you again. I really appreciate this.
You're welcome. You try to have a good day. And if, I'm hoping somebody comes up with something, and I give you a call back and I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Folks, listen, please, if you have any tip out there, let's solve this. This was a man that served his country. He had a family, he had 3 kids, he had a wife. He was just trying to support him. He was actually working 2 jobs, gets a job as a security guard, and gets murdered. Senseless, totally senseless. And if you look across this country, that's all we have anymore is senseless murders. Everywhere. Crime is out of control. And listen, TikTok, we're going to open the phone lines so you can talk. You can call me. I'm having trouble seeing the messages there on TikTok, so please call in. It's not working for some reason. I have no idea why. The phone number is 833-847-7227. That is 1-833-TIPS-CASH, but the number is 833-847-7227. You can watch us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, okay, Roku, okay, the Go Live Vegas channel, thecrimesolver.com. There's tons of ways, and you could call us directly right now. And if you call, you got to tell me who you like, the Eagles or the Kansas City Chiefs. That's got to be your first thing. You got to tell me who's going to win the Super Bowl, okay, and then you could ask your question. If you just want to call in and say the Chiefs or the Eagles, I'll take them calls too, because this is a special week. It's Super Bowl week. We want to hear from everybody. We got a call. We got a call. Hi, this is Danny from the Crime Solver.
Hey, Danny.
Hey, how you doing? Who's this?
Good. My name's Dave. I'm calling from Pennsylvania.
Dave, what's up? How you doing?
I thought you'd remember me, Danny. I'm doing good, buddy, and I want to just give you credit for doing this type of show, and I feel so bad. My heart goes out to Priscilla there at the loss of her son, who sounds like he was a real honorable guy and just really an American hero and gunned down for no sensible reason. So my heart goes out to her about that.
Now, Dave.
But
Go ahead.
go ahead.
I was going to say.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about.
Listen, I just want to tell the people who you are. You worked with me for 14 years.
Yes, I did.
And listen, I'm going to tell them the truth. I would arrest somebody. We would get back to the police station, and Dave would do my paperwork because he was better at paperwork than me. Would you agree?
Yeah, well, sometimes we had to do it that way. But
This is
that's
what-
just because I was better on the paperwork.
Listen, and I'm going to tell the folks out there, Dave, because they're going to love this. Back then, we didn't have computers. We had to type the paperwork out. Because me and you started in 1988, and if you screwed the paperwork up, you had to restart it all over again. And I remember you looking at me and saying, "Get the hell away from that typewriter, I'll do it." Because you got so fed up with me ripping up the paperwork, and you have to do the paperwork for me. Am I right?
No, that's the truth. That's the truth. We had the old manual typewriters for a while, if you remember. That was crazy.
We used to have to put the white out on the paperwork.
Yep. Well, you had different color whiteout. You had yellow and green and pink and blue, all the different carbon copies.
That's true. So, Dave, listen, you heard that lady. She has an unsolved case, and we talked about this. We don't have to get into it today, but you haven't. Your sister was murdered, and so you kind of feel
That's right.
what that lady feels. Am I correct?
That's exactly right. My sister was murdered in 1996, so and that's an unsolved case that we could talk about at a different day. But I feel so bad for that. I think Priscilla was her name, the mother of the decedent here.
Yeah.
And one of the things you touched on, Danny, which is key, and you know it, it's up to the family to keep pressure on law enforcement because people retire, people change jobs, management changes over, and you have to stay on top of them and call for meetings and ask for meetings with the detective that's in charge of the particular case, as well as the prosecuting attorney. And it's up to the family to keep that pressure on. And doing shows like this where you get some nationwide exposure is excellent because we're in a mobile society where people are moving every day, moving to different states, different locations, and somebody always knows something, especially with two people committing a crime. Somebody's going to talk.
Somebody's definitely going to talk. And listen, Dave, and I'm going to be honest with you. Now, I left the department and I went to Harrisburg. But I'm going to tell you, I worked with a lot of good cops over the years, and I mean this totally, Dave. You're the best cop I ever worked with in 27 years. If anybody had a crime, if I had a victim of a crime, a family member that was murdered, God forbid, or any kind of violent crime, I would want you to investigate the crime. And I know you've been retired a long time, but I would want you to investigate the crime. You're the best cop I've ever worked with. That's the truth.
Danny, you're too kind, but I'll say this. You and I made a pretty good team. When we put our mind to something, we stayed on it. We were focused. We were driven to get justice for a family or for a victim. And there are a lot of good cops out there. Unfortunately, they do change departments or change ranks within the department, and sometimes there's not continuity on these long-term investigations. So that's important to stay on that to make sure somebody has all the information and who is the lead detective at any given time.
I agree. Dave, if you don't mind, I do want you to call in again, but I just want to tell the people that why you were a cop with me. Your sister was murdered. It is a cold case, and there was actually a coroner inquest, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's been years, that they actually said, the coroner inquest said it was a homicide, but yet this case has never been solved, and they do have a suspect. Am I correct?
Yeah, you're correct with all of that, Danny. And we, like I said, we could talk about it another time. It's an interesting case, and it's a cold case, but it's worked on all the time.
Is it still being worked on, you think?
Forensics changes. Pardon me?
Is it still being worked on?
Yes, there is a criminal investigator assigned to that case all the time.
Okay.
So there's an annual review on all of the evidence. That case is not dead. It is simply simmering because we're waiting for some advancements in science. I think that's what will solve that case someday. And we can talk about it another time.
When was
back
that,
to
Dave?
the case at hand here.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's that?
What? I'm trying to remember. When was that? How long ago was that?
That's 1996, Danny.
Oh my gosh! And listen, if anybody out there wants to look the case up, Deborah Gorski, Hazelton, Pennsylvania. It was actually Hazel Township, correct, Dave?
That's right.
Okay, so you guys could look the case up. We're going to have Dave on at another time to go over that whole case. But I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead what you were going to say.
No, I just wanted to say that, keeping some pressure on law enforcement, not that they're not interested or they're not doing their job, but just making sure that there's one lead detective that has all the information and is actively reviewing that case on a regular basis. That's up to the family to do, and I think it can be done. And this case will be solved. Danny, this show is fantastic. You are one of the best guys I ever knew with stuff like this. You are a very focused individual. And to just put a podcast on like this that can get a nationwide reach out is so valuable to Priscilla and her family to get justice for their son.
Thank you, Dave. And thanks for calling in. And please call back. And also, I want to get you on. And if you come out to Vegas, I'm going to get you on this. You'll be on the whole show here with me, okay?
All right, Danny. I appreciate it. Good luck to you.
Hey, listen, come out and do the Stratosphere climb with me.
Well, Dylan and I are dying to come out and do that. I don't know if we can make it, Danny, but if Dylan and I can make it to Vegas, believe me, we're not only going to do that climb with you, we're going to beat your ass at it, and we're going to go live while we're doing it so the whole nation can see that this old man Dave beat Danny on that climb.
Listen, how much older are you than me? What are you, 56?
I'm 57, but we don't have to get into numbers.
So you are older than me. But listen, you know what? Climbing stairs is tough. It's gonna be a tough climb.
It might be tough for you, buddy, but I'm gonna whiz right through it.
Well, I hope you two come.
All right, Danny. Take care, buddy.
All right, bye-bye. See you, Dave. Dave actually flew out here and got married, and I actually went to his wedding. So Dave is just recently remarried. And I wish him and his husband luck, man. Dave is, he honestly, I'm not exaggerating. He's one of the best cops I ever worked with. The man is brilliant. Brilliant. He actually works for a criminal defense law firm now. He's a brilliant man. He really is. And like I said, I'm not making that up. So we got 2 good calls already. Let's get some more. TikTok, I'm sorry, I can't see what you're putting over there. If you have any questions, call it in 833-847-7227. It's 833-847-7227. Now, I just put a video out there. I want to talk a little bit. CNN just reported that I guess the prosecutors in Idaho are now looking at cold cases for Kohlberger. So they're looking at old cases. They're scrambling. They're going through everything with a fine-tooth comb, and they believe there could be other cases out there. What do you think? I think there could. I think the guy has a creepiness about him. I think there's a chance he could have done other murders. And that's what they're looking at right now. And let me explain this, how they do this. There's a thing in law enforcement. It's called NCIC. It's a big computer system. It goes through every single police department. And usually they have one guy assigned to that. I was actually assigned to our NCIC. And if you have any missing people, you have wanted people, it goes into this computer system. So any law enforcement agencies anywhere could know about this. So they put somebody's name in. They could put different types of homicides that they have, and there could be a hit, and they could start looking into this guy. So that's what they're doing in Idaho now. What does everybody think out there? Call in. Do you have any questions? What do you think? Could Kohlberger be a serial killer? Call us, 833-847-7227. I don't know if we have that up. Yeah, we have the number right up there. If anybody wants to call in. The lines are open, and we could talk a little bit about this. But that's what I think. I think you definitely have a chance with Kohlberger. I really do. I think he could be a serial killer. I think that's what they're going to look into. And I think they have a chance at finding other people. We got a call. Hi, this is Danny from the Crime Solver. Who do we have calling? Where are you from?
Hey, it's Mary Beth. I'm from Washington.
Hi, Mary Beth. Washington, D.C. or the state?
State.
Oh, awesome. So what do you have, Mary?
So with BK, I think this is his first time. He just made too many mistakes.
Okay.
For him to so much.
Let me ask you something. I got another question. I'm glad you called, too. Do you watch the show a lot, or is this your first time?
No, this is actually the second time watching the show, but I do try to catch you when you're live on TikTok or, yeah.
Thank you so much. I don't know if you saw this on CNN, But CNN they had an expert on there yesterday, and the expert was saying that they believe that he left the sheath on purpose there at the scene. I just don't get why he thinks he would leave that there. Do you think he left it on purpose? Do you think he was trying to throw the prosecutors off or the police off?
I think that there was another video that I had seen where, or it might even been her parents, where they felt like the girl that was struggling, she got it off of him and threw it that way that the police would be able to find it. So I think that's what happened. I don't think that he meant to leave it. It's just it fell off, and then he started freaking out whenever he realized he didn't have it.
I'm with you. I think that's exactly right. I think they are now saying that these kids fought back, especially the one girl. She fought back. She actually tried grabbing the knife, so she had cuts on her hands for them to say that. So I agree with you. Through the struggle, he loses it. I don't know why they would think that leaving that sheath would throw police off. I don't get that at all. I didn't understand that expert. What do you think? And I'm glad I have you on the phone because I like getting people's ideas. Why do you think it took so long to call the police? I mean, that's the biggest thing. Why do you think the victims didn't call the police, the victims that were still alive?
I don't know if it's because they were getting their story together. I've not been very vocal about them not calling the police, but it just doesn't sit well with me that they didn't. Even if you're in a stressful situation, if those were your people, those were your friends, I would, that was the first thing that I would be doing as soon as I see them. I'd be running out of the house, calling 911, getting the ambulances there, getting the police there, whoever I could get to come as quick as they could come.
And it sounds like to me, and honestly, and I don't want to judge these kids because they're victims too, but I just don't get, they called their friends and their parents before they called the police. I mean, it's very strange to me that they did this. And it does, it's going to open up the process. I mean, the defense, they're going to bring a lot of this stuff up. And I do feel bad for, I think the girl's name is Dylan, the girl that saw him leaving the scene. She actually saw him and then closed her door. I mean, the defense is going to be all over her. I actually really feel bad for her.
Oh, yeah, they're going to be trying to make false connections or be asking her, okay, so you knew him. So,
yes, definitely. How about anything else that you think that will be interesting?
I'm just interested to see if there's more people involved because I know that you had posted the article about, are they suspects now or so I'm just interested to see what prevails. And I know that they can't give a lot of information out, but it would just have more. That way that it would cut down on a lot of people with speculation because, they're even going back into the time that he was a TA. And I'm just a lot of stuff that they're trying to dig up. I'm like, that doesn't have anything to do with the crime.
You're exactly right. And a lot of people don't realize this. Even if he committed other crimes, which he didn't, I don't think he has any criminal record, stuff like that can't be brought up. You can't bring that stuff up. You can't bring stuff up that, he was stalking other people. They're not going to let that into court. They only describe the incident now. A lot of people don't realize that. Yep. So listen.
All the things that he brought up on charges, yeah.
Yes. Listen, I want to thank you for calling in. Please call in anytime. You could call back in if you have another question as we go on. We got about 20 more minutes. But I appreciate you, and please keep following.
Awesome. Will do. Thanks so much and have a great night.
Hey, 1 second before you leave. Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
The Eagles.
All right. Thank you, man. You have a great day.
You too. Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. That was a great call. And she brought up some great points. Listen, the phone line's open. I love talking about the Coburg case. You want to talk about that? 833-847-7227. I saw some stuff there on Facebook, so call in. We're going to have you call in because I can't see all the questions there on Facebook. 833-847-7227. And that's a big thing about court that people don't understand. You can't bring other things up about the suspect. Even if he did have a criminal record, you can't bring other cases up. They only look at this case. They don't want the jury judging him on his other crimes or his other cases. Now, a witness, they could bring that up. Okay, they could bring stuff up that a witness maybe has a criminal background, stuff like that. But they're not going to let that in with the suspect. So it's very huge. And I do believe that this case will be televised. I will be shocked if it's not televised. I really will. And we got another call. Hi, this is Danny from the Crime Solvers. Who do we have on the phone and where are you from?
Hi, this is Becca from Maryland.
From Maryland?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, what can we help you with?
The Brian Koberger case, you don't know psychologically what Dylan went through. She could have disassociated herself.
Oh, I totally agree with you. And honestly, I really hate even talking about it because I don't want to judge this poor girl. I have daughters her age. I don't know what they would have done. You know, and there's people in and out of that house. She could have thought the guy looked spooky and a little scary, but she could have thought he'd been visiting one of the other people. You know what I mean? Would you agree?
I know that. Yeah, I do. And I know that when I was in high school, I had a friend that was involved in a really bad car accident. And she was fine, but what she saw, she, to this day, blocked it out of her mind and she can't remember. And I'm not saying that that's what happened with Dylan, but it could have been to some degree.
I totally agree with you. And like I said, I really try not to bash these kids because they're just kids. You know, who knows what anybody would have done in that situation. So I totally agree. Did you watch the show a lot or is this your first time?
A lot.
Okay.
No, I watch a lot.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much and keep watching. Do you have a winner for this weekend? The Eagles or the Kansas City Chiefs?
Oh, Eagles.
All right. I knew you would pick the Eagles. You're from Maryland, right?
That's right.
All right. You have a great day, and thank you for calling and keep watching.
Thank you.
Guys, we're getting some great calls in here today. I love it. Please, phone lines are open. You're what makes this podcast great. 833-847-7227. Call about Carl Kohlberg. You have a question? Call. You have maybe a law enforcement question? Call. I'm here to answer them. That's what I'm here for, the Crime Solver. I want to go over one other thing. I did a video, and if anybody wants to comment on that, and listen, phone lines are open for anything. You can bring anything up. You want to bring a cold case up, whatever you want to bring up, feel free to call. I want to talk about Gabby Petito right now, her case. I did a video. The attorney for her family released a photo of her yesterday, and she has, a big mark on her upper eye here. I believe, it was her left eye, a big thing. And they are suing the Utah police for not arresting him that night. And we might be able to put the photo up of her. Now, a lot of people said to me, well, if you saw the video of her, you couldn't see that injury on the video when the cops from their uniform cam. Listen, I totally agree with that. But let me explain the domestic violence laws to you, okay? Domestic violence, the cops do not have discretion. Let me repeat that. The cops do not have discretion. If the cops pull you over for a traffic ticket, they have discretion. They could give you a ticket or not give you a ticket. They have discretion. Could they give you a parking ticket or not give you a parking ticket? In domestic violence cases, because of the horrible things after cops left and people being murdered, they don't give cops discretion. If there is any signs of a struggle, if there are any signs of violence, an arrest needs to be made. ASAP. And the most aggressor is the person that gets arrested. Any signs, if the cops came in here and a chair was turned over, a couch was turned over, the table was messy and it looked like there was a fight, they have to make an arrest. So they could have made this arrest just by the slap in the face that people called on, just by the witness testimony. These cops were 100% wrong. When I went to domestic violence cases, I made an arrest 99.9% of the time because when I went home that night, I wouldn't have been able to sleep knowing somebody could be murdered because I didn't do my job. And listen, I stick up for the police, but in this case, he should have been arrested. 100%. If you don't agree with me, phone lines are open. 833-847-7227. You still want to talk about the Kohlberger case? I see things going on there on TikTok. Call in. But there's no discretion in domestic violence cases. You have to make an arrest. You have to. Okay? Think about the OJ case, and it all started with the OJ case. The cops were going to domestic violence calls and not arresting OJ because he was a celebrity. And we know how that all ended. Yes, he was found not guilty, but let's be honest, we know OJ was guilty. He was 100% guilty. Okay? We know he was. Okay? That's why he got 10 years for a robbery that other people would have got probation for. Okay? So we know OJ was guilty. So cops do not have discretion on cases like that. They just don't. And I never mess with things like that. Domestic violence and DUI, I never messed with. If I had somebody pulled over for DUI, yes, I would give them a ride home, but I would keep their keys sometimes. So if I thought they were in the borderline, I would give them a ride home. Say, come get your keys in the morning. But I never let somebody drive that car because you don't know what could happen. So to me, DUI, domestic violence, no discretion. You got to protect the public. So the Utah police are 100% wrong. 100% wrong. Now, I also did a video on Alec Baldwin, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of people were sticking up for him and thinks he should not have been charged. I can go either way on the case. Do I think he meant to do anything wrong? Absolutely not. I'm not a fan of him, not at all. Okay, I think he's arrogant. Not a fan one bit of this man. But I also believe that he didn't mean any harm in doing this. But anybody that's handled guns knows every gun, no matter if it was checked 35 times before you, when you get that gun, you check to see if it's loaded. Every gun in your hand is presumed loaded until you prove it's not loaded. So that's why he should be charged but should not go to jail. Probation. Listen, this man has to live with this the rest of his life. I feel bad for him. To me, that's consequences enough. So I understand why everybody's saying he shouldn't be charged, but the reason he should be, and it's involuntary, he didn't mean to do it, and that's what involuntary manslaughter is. You didn't mean to do it, but because of your neglect and because you didn't do something, somebody's death happened. So that's what involuntary manslaughter is. So I understand people saying he shouldn't be charged, but I'm telling you the reason why he should be. But I agree he does not need to go to jail for any of this. Phone lines are open, 833-847-7227. And if you call up, you got to tell me who's going to win the big game. Eagles, Kansas City Chiefs. Who's going to win the big game? Let me know. Call in now. If you're Kansas City, have you seen? I have not seen that case, Brian. Nicola, I can't read that last name. Bully? Is that it? Nicola Bully case? I have not. If you want to call in, Brian, the lanes, we'll talk about it right now. Call in. I'm not familiar with that case at all. If you want to call in, phone lines are open. 833-847-7227. Also, the other thing I wanted to touch on tonight before we go, and we got 13 minutes left, so if somebody wants to call in, definitely call in. I wanted to go over gun control. That is a big thing, and it went over to, I don't like to get political at all, okay? But I'm going to give you my point of view, even if you don't like it, because I know a lot of people are not going to like it. But I talk about gun control laws as feel-good laws. They're going to make everybody feel good that we got different laws, but are they going to work? That's the thing. Are they going to work? Now, I'm all for background checks, and I think you should go through a safety course if you're going to have a gun and be a gun owner. I'm all for that. I'm all for, we got a call. Let's take the call first. Hi, you're with Danny, the crime solver. Who do we have, and where are you calling from?
Hi, Danny. I'm calling from Jersey.
Hey, Jersey in the house. Listen, I think I said this before, but I'm going to say it every time I get somebody from Jersey. Wildwood, New Jersey was where I spent every single summer, and I'm sure you were too.
Yes, definitely.
I miss it too.
Definitely.
You know what? When people ask me what I miss from the East Coast, I always say vacationing on the Jersey Shore because There is nothing like Wildwoods Boardwalk. I could smell the ocean right now.
Correct. But that was back in our time, not today.
Oh, is it bad now?
I was there like 3 years ago, and it was like kind of trashy. It's not like it used to be in the 80s, 90s.
Oh, my God.
Or even the early 2000s.
I used to go all the time in the 80s. My whole family and the 90s. We loved it. But listen, I'm sorry taking your
the good
time
old
up about
times.
the beach. What are you calling for?
I'm calling about a crime.
Okay.
But it hasn't happened yet.
Oh, okay. Uh-oh, how's this one? Go ahead.
I'm just calling to let you know that the Eagles are going to get murdered. Okay?
That was the best. You got me good. Listen, are you a Kansas City Chief fan?
No, I am not. I'm a New York Giants fan, and I was busting your bubble yesterday in your live.
Oh, okay. And you know what? Hey, listen, if the Giants were in the Super Bowl, I would be cheering for the Chiefs because I'm the same way. I hate every single team that's in my division, and I'm sure you feel the same way.
Exactly. Now you understand my pain yesterday in your live.
Yes, and listen, the one thing we could all, like all the teams in the division, we all hate each other, but we all hate the Cowboys the most. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Listen, is this your first time watching the show? No?
I told you yesterday. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you. He was putting music. I couldn't hear you.
Okay,
It's like, this is your first time watching the show?
I was breaking up. No, it is not. I'm the chick that was in your live yesterday, and I said that. I'll watch. I'm here for the crime talk, but not football talk.
Oh, okay. Listen, the football talk will be over after this week. I might mention a little bit next week because I'll be saying the Eagles are the Super Bowl champs. But listen, thank you for calling
Womp
in.
womp.
And listen.
Thank you for having me. An awesome shirt, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. And please call back.
I will. Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye. All right, so it looks like she got me good. She said she wanted to report a crime, and the crime is the Kansas City Chiefs are going to murder the Eagles. She got me good. Because I was thinking, uh-oh, is she going to admit to a crime? Is she confessing right on air? You got me. That was very, very good. I loved it. Listen, guys, we still have 9 minutes. Call in. Call in. I want to hear about your Super Bowl picks, too. Call in with a crime question, and we might talk a little bit of football, too. 833-847-7227. 833-847-7227. I did go over to gun control, and listen, we'll take calls while I'm talking about this. Here's the thing. Like I said before, I call them feel-good laws, okay? They're going to make everybody feel good, but what's it going to do? And let me tell you why. And listen, I totally understand everybody's concern. Why does people need an AR? Why do they do this? Why do they do that? I totally understand that. But here's the thing. You could pass as many gun laws as you want. And I don't know why people don't understand this. The bad guy don't go by the law. He's a bad guy. He doesn't care how many gun laws you pass. He's not going to go by that. And let me tell you why. I worked undercover drugs on the streets of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Okay? I was undercover. We can buy we can buy guns on the street within 5 minutes. I can get a loaded gun from somebody on the street in 5 minutes in a big city. Believe me, that's why gun control doesn't work. It just doesn't, because bad guys are going to find a way to get the gun no matter what. They're not going to go register the gun. Bad guys, they buy their guns off the street. So that's my biggest thing about gun control. And listen, I do see everybody's point. And I'm not your typical conservative that says, oh, anybody should get a gun, this and that. I think mental health evaluation, 100%. I think if you went to see a doctor for mental health, okay, you should be cleared by that doctor before you can carry a gun. So I'm totally for that. I believe everybody should take a safety course. I believe everybody should qualify with a gun. So I'm totally for all of that. Believe me, I'm not 100% in with all what the conservatives say. Believe me when I tell you. But as a cop, I'm going to tell you the bad guy gets the gun no matter what. He always has. Listen, we got 7 more minutes. I want to hear from a Philadelphia Eagle fan with a crime question. 833-847-7227. And if you want to talk anything about gun control, call in. I want to hear. I definitely want to hear. Here's something about gun control that a lot of people didn't understand. Oh, we got a call. Hi, this is Danny from the Crime Solver. Who do we have on the phone? Where are you calling from?
Hello, my name's Brian from Seattle.
Hey, Brian from Seattle. This is our second call from Washington. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Brian, is this the first time you've watched the show, or have you been watching?
I've been watching multiple shows now.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So, Brian, are you calling about gun control, or what's your question?
Yeah, but I was just hearing what you were saying about gun control, and what you're saying is true. Like, it's not really going to stop the bad guys because they will always find a way to get it. No matter, you could take everyone's guns, and in my opinion, they will still find a way to get it.
Oh, exactly. And that's what I was saying, Brian. And I was just going to say this, so I'm glad I have you on the phone. The Columbine kids, right? When we talk about the Columbine incident where they shot up the school, okay, in Columbine, them kids actually went to a flea market and bought their guns illegally when they were 17 years old. Okay? So they got a gun no matter what. Now, would the gun laws have helped that case? No. They would have bought the guns anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think you agree with me.
Yeah, I think the problem is just too far gone now to just be as simple as we're just going to take every single person's guns and we'll never have issues again. I think it's too far gone.
I totally agree with you. Do you agree with me, though? I mean, I don't know if you're conservative. I don't know what side of political thing you're on, but I think we both could agree that, you should take a safety course. You should be able to prove that you could shoot the gun. Would you agree with me?
Yeah, I do agree. And most people that own guns, they are responsible, they don't use it. But we do have a lot that, they might get the gun legally, and they do bad things as well. So it's just hard.
I totally agree with you. And I think about last week, Brian, I saw like a little 6-year-old kid. He was out on his porch with a gun that he found in his house. I mean, if you're a gun owner, be responsible. And if you're not, you should be charged if somebody gets hurt because you are responsible for that gun. So like I said, I have conservative views, but I also see the liberal view on it also. So I'm kind of in the middle. I'm about 60-40. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't own a gun, but if I did and I had kids around, I'd make sure it's locked, that they cannot access it because you don't want them, finding the gun, and because they're kids, they'll just play around with it. They don't know what it is. They could kill someone, shoot someone. You don't know.
Brian, you know what? Why I have you on the phone before you go? First of all, I got 2 questions for you. One, you said you're not a gun owner?
Yeah, I'm not a gun
Okay.
owner.
Believe it or not, I was a police officer for 27 years. I only owned 2 guns. One, my dad willed me his gun, and it was his father's gun, so it's kind of like just like a thing I want to keep because it was my grandfather's gun. And one is a gun that I have for protection. But I'm not a big gun guy. I only own 2 guns. But my second question to you is, we hear a lot of things that the crime is out of control in Seattle. Is that true, or is that just the media?
Well, I don't live in downtown, but there is a lot of crime. But me personally, I don't own a gun because I don't feel the need to where I live. So I don't feel like I need it for protection or anything because no crime really happens with the area I live. But I can't really talk on other areas because I don't really know.
Understand. Listen, Brian, thank you for calling in. Please watch the show every week, and please call in again next week, all right?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Listen, you guys were fantastic, and if you just saw, Brian brought up some good points, and if you just saw, we put that up, a 6-year-old running around with a loaded gun that he found in his house. Listen, I'm pro-gun. I believe everybody has the right to defend themselves, but I also believe that if you are not going to be responsible with your gun, you should be charged. You need to lock that gun up, okay? Let me tell you, I had 3 kids when I was a cop. So I had 3 kids that I'd come home to every night. I was so paranoid about me walking in the door after I was done with my shift that I would lock my gun up in my briefcase with a lock before I even walked in my door, because I didn't want to have to take my gun belt off and forget it somewhere. Like, you know how you rush into your house? I was so protective of my kids with that gun because I didn't want anything bad to happen to them. So I was responsible enough to lock my gun up even before I got home from police work. So if you're a gun owner, you have to be responsible. You have to be 100%. So listen, I want to end the show. We got 2 minutes. So I got to end the show with this. I want to give you my prediction of the Super Bowl. This is how I'm going to end it. And then next week, you can all criticize me if I'm wrong. And you Kansas City Chiefs fans could call in too and criticize me. This is how I see the Super Bowl on Sunday. First off, the Eagles are the best team. They are better than the Kansas City Chiefs. But the Kansas City Chiefs have two magical players. One is Patrick Mahomes, and one is Kelsey. They are Travis Kelsey. They are fantastic, okay? So could them two beat the Eagles? Yes. So there is a magical portion of this where if that magic happens, the Chiefs will win. But I personally 100% feel the Eagles are the better team, okay? The Philadelphia Eagles are by far the better team. Okay, somebody just put the Eagles need to win so I can win my good. I hope they do win. Okay, but here's my score, and I just said it on the other show that I was on before this. The Eagles are going to win 31-17. It will not be close. The Eagles will never be in doubt that they're going to win the game. Okay, they're going to win 31-17. They're going to sack Mahomes 5 times throughout the day. 31-17. The Philadelphia Eagles bring home their second Super Bowl in 5 years. Let's go, crime solvers. Thank you for watching. It's now 7 o'clock. We will be here next Wednesday. We will go over everything that happened during the week. And listen, how much went on this week? Spy balloon, this, that. We will be in. Thank you for everything, and we will see you next week. Go Live Vegas Studios, baby. Darius, just take me Sunday to the Eagles game, please. Let's go.